Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Brian, and today's video I'm going to go over a 6-month update on my truck bed camper that I've been using now. So I've put quite a few miles on this. I know it's fairly new, but I've had it long enough to find out some things that I wanted to change and some things that I wanted to add to this after having it for 6 months. So stay tuned, folks. I'm going to show you all the things that I've done to this, all the additions, subtractions, modifications, things that I found to make this truck camper the best that I can possibly make it to be more enjoyable out on my trips. So first things first, let me walk you through some of the different wiring connections that I have switched to help eliminate some of the issues that I've currently had. Okay, so this is the back of that cabinet that you've seen in my truck bed. And in my very first truck camper video, I kind of showed you folks how I did all the wiring inside here. So I'm not gonna go into that because I don't want to take this top off. But I have all of the wiring coming out and terminating basically just, out the back. And what I'm going to do to upgrade this wiring is that you can see on these wires, I've got what I think they call bullet adapters, bullet connections. And the thing with these is that inside my truck, the lights that I'm hooking it up to has an adapter that fits over this bullet connector. And over time, they can kind of disconnect from each other. So it's not a great connection. And I've noticed that I've had to come in and squeeze those back together. So what I'm going to do is upgrade to these Anderson power pole connections. They are a little bit more pricey, and you do have to have a special Anderson power pole crimping tool. I'll link this down below. It's not that expensive. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do one, and then I'm going to do all the other ones off camera because it takes a while. But this positive and negative wire is for my little marine bed lights, my little 4-inch bed lights that I have underneath my mattress. So I'm going to start with these, and what you have to do is the Anderson power pole connectors come with, it's 3 different pieces. You got a positive and a negative piece, and these slide together and lock to form one piece. And then you actually have your connection piece that you have to crimp on to the wire, which is this. And if you notice, if I can get that up, if I can ever get this to focus, it's kind of got a tongue on it. And you want that tongue to kind of go up and over. So this little tongue here, when you go to crimp it on the wire, you just want to make sure that you crimp it on right, because it's going to go into the back of this and go, I like to think of it as going up and over, and it kind of locks itself into place. So just keep that in mind when you're crimping these things. The first one's not so important, but when you go put the second one on, it has to be aligned the same way so they both fit in this Anderson connector the same way. So the first one's not that critical. Okay, so I've got the first one just kind of sitting on there. Again, I'm not too concerned about the first one, and this is the 15 amp version, so I'm going to put it into the 15 amp slot. And that's crimped on, nice and tight. Now, the second one is where you have to make sure that you align it the same orientation. So that's got that little tongue kind of going down. You want to make sure that your other wire that you're going to be using is also oriented in the same direction. And that looks good. And now once you get those on, they just slide on to this little piece right here and kind of lock themselves into place. And you can feel them click when you get them in there. Okay, that one clicked in. Okay, so now this is locked into place. And I'm gonna have to, when I go into the back of my truck, do this exact same thing for my bed lights for the wires coming down from my truck capper. I'll have to strip them and put this exact same connection on, and then they just snap together. So this is gonna be a lot stronger than these little barrel adapters. So I'm gonna go continue to do this throughout all of these. Okay, so everything that I'm gonna be using to plug up inside that camper now has Anderson connectors on it, which should be a lot better, except for the exception of my overhead interior lights. I have an SAE connection on it just because the lights actually came with an SAE connection. So I'm keeping those the same, but everything else has Anderson connectors. Let's go get this plugged up in the truck and we'll go from there. All right, and I'm also gonna take out these LED light strips. They were kind of silly. They didn't work that great. They didn't stay in place. So I'm just gonna rip them out because I don't want them anymore. No more LED lights. So up close and personal, before I get that cabinet put in, this wire right here is ran up to my ceiling lights. Okay, so that's what this SAE connector's for. This plug now is the exterior little LED, 6-inch LED light bars that I put underneath my bumper, and this wire right here is for my bed lights, for those guys down there. It's just one wire that's going to come out that now has an Anderson connector, and it's going to plug in directly into my cabinet. So now I only have 3 wires that I got to connect to the back of my cabinet. Nice and clean and simple. I'm going to get this vacuumed out and get that cabinet put back in. Well, all right, gang, I've got everything hooked up. Probably can't see it just yet, but the last piece of the puzzle is, since I took out the LED little light strip that was kind of crappy, I picked these up. These were actually cheaper than the LED light strip, so I don't know how these are going to work out, but there's just 4 little LED light bars, and I don't know if that's picking up in the sun or not, but they change colors, and you can keep them the same color, white, blue, beat to the music, whatever. But I'm going to see if I can find a good place to string these things up, and then I will take you for a final walkthrough a little later this evening when it's not 422 degrees outside. I will catch back up with you folks when this is all said and done and give you a final walkthrough. Okay everyone, so that is a wrap for my little update to this truck camper today. It's been crazy hot, so I'm gonna make this short and sweet and kind of go over some things that I changed, some things that I added, why I did it, and go over some of the most common questions that I've been getting over the last 6 months on this camper that I'm just gonna try to put on one video. So the first thing that you can't see that I did change that you saw earlier in the video is I changed all my wiring connections. So now I'm betting that I have all of my wiring pretty much buttoned down to where it's not going to disconnect, it's not going to do anything funny, everything's going to work when I want it to work. And I do have everything in here plugged into a 300 watt-hour battery station. I get that asked a lot, how big of a power station do I use? Typically I travel with a 300 watt unless I'm going to be running either my air conditioning unit or a 12 volt fridge, and then I will bump up to a 500 watt or a 2000 watt if I have to run my AC off of it. But I typically get campsites that have hook up AC to it if I'm going to be running my AC, and that's pretty much a must here in Texas right now, or otherwise I wouldn't be camping. But normally just a 300 watt hour battery station runs all of my lights, my fans, and I get by just fine through the night. But all that wiring's behind this cabinet, so you can't see it, but it's there. Speaking of the cabinet, I've gotten a lot of questions on the carpet and the carpet in general. So this isn't carpet. What you see on the floor and on the sides is a bed rug, and it's basically a bed liner that looks like carpet, but it is not carpet. It is oil proof, waterproof, paint proof. You rinse this thing out with a power washer. You treat it just like a bed liner would, and it's extremely durable. It does look like gray carpet, but it is not carpet. The headliner that you see up here, I didn't do it. It came from Lear like this. So I paid the extra, I think 120 bucks to get the interior lined with this material. But again, I didn't do any of this carpeting myself. So it all came from Lear, and I did install the bed rug, but again, it's not carpet. The cabinet, I did carpet it. This is just speaker box carpet. So, back in the days when you had subwoofers in a big speaker box, it typically came with this type of carpet on it, and I just bought this off of Amazon. I searched for speaker box carpet, literally, and bought a roll of it, and I adhered it to the plywood carcass with Gorilla Glue spray adhesive. So I just sprayed the bare cabinet, let that get tacky, then I sprayed the underside of this carpet, let that get tacky, and then I just stuck the two together and rolled it out, and it has not moved. And I do like the look of it. It feels a little bit more homey in here, I guess, than having a big plywood box there, which is why I decided to carpet this cabinet. So that covers up all the carpet questions that I get. You did see that I took out the LED lights that I had running down my bedsides and down the front. I just didn't really use them, and I didn't really have a good place to stick them, so they were just kind of stuck to this headliner material, and it's so hot in here they just started to kind of fall, and I don't like the looks of wiring everywhere, so I just took them out because I didn't really use them that much. And in place, and I don't know if I'm going to end up liking them, are these little LED light bars up here. I'll put the link down below. I think they were literally 16 bucks, but I can change the color of them with a little remote I have down here. So they do a bunch of different little things. They're mainly just for fun. I don't know how beneficial they'll actually be. We'll see how I end up liking those things, but I definitely did not like the LED bed lights. I thought they were kind of cheesy, so I took them out. And these are connected to one of my switches, so I can just flip the switch and turn them on and off. It does have a secondary switch where I can go in and change all the colors, and I think it's got like a mode on it where if I'm having a party in here and listening to music, it'll beat to the music, which never happens, but it can do that. So I added those, and the big main thing that you probably see is the Reflectix. So yes, I took out my curtains. I had curtain rods and I had actual curtains that I would have to squeeze together and tie up when I got to camp if I wanted to see outside. And to be honest, it just kind of got to be a pain in the butt, and I found myself not even feeling like messing with the curtains when I got to camp because there was 3 on each side. So I had 6 curtains that I had to squeeze together, tie in the middle, and then when I left, I had to undo them and pull them apart. It just got to be kind of a hassle, and I like to be able to see outside at night when I'm camping. It makes it feel more open. My envision of this Reflectix is I'm hoping it's going to provide a little bit better, not insulation, but help reflect obviously some of the sun and not make this inside so unbearably hot when I get to camp. I know it's not a lot, but I'm thinking it's better than just black curtains that I had. When I get to camp, all I'm gonna have to do is just take these little Velcro strips off. So I just hot glued a strip of Velcro, you know, every 10, 12 inches or so on the top and the bottom. And the other side of the Velcro just sticks to the headliner on the topper. So that's just all that's holding it in. I mean, these don't weigh anything, so I'm thinking it's gonna be okay. My only concern is that when it gets so hot in here, is that hot glue actually gonna start to melt and peel away from this Reflectix? I don't know. We'll test that out, but the idea is when I get to camp now, I'm just gonna take both sides of this Reflectix off, roll them up, stick them under the bed, and I'm gonna have a better view. I'm not gonna have little curtains all throughout my windows, you know, impeding my view of the great outdoors, I guess. So that's why I took out the curtain. I think in the end, I'm gonna be happier having these on there because they're easy to put up and they're easy to take down. So that's why I did the Reflectix. And a lot of you folks have probably seen the fact that I do have a Zero Breeze Mark II little AC unit that I push through my cab into here to cool this thing down. And to insulate the outside from the back of my truck bed glass to the back glass of my camper, I've tried the window donut, I've tried foam pool noodles, I've tried pipe insulation, and the thing that I found that works the best, and a lot of you guys commented on, is a bicycle inner tube. So this is just an 18-inch bicycle inner tube, and when I get to camp, I just kind of stuff this in here on all the corners, and I have a little mini hand air pump, battery powered air pump, and I connect it to the valve, and I blow it up, and I kind of push it all around the corner just to make sure there's enough space for that Zero Breeze to go through. And this has worked the best. It's the easiest to put in, it's the easiest to take out when I want to leave, and it honestly provides the best seal. So this is what I'm using to seal my capper from the outside elements when that window's open when I'm running my air conditioning unit. So thanks to all of you folks who did comment on one of my videos I posted a while back on trying to figure out the best insulation, but this has been the best. So thank you to all the comments that helped out on this one. And so probably the last thing I'll go over is just the bed, basically, because I get a lot of questions on the bed and the mattress. So this is not really a mattress. It is 5-inch thick, high density foam. Okay, and I ordered it on Amazon. I had to use an electric carving knife to cut the exact size that I wanted, but it was super easy. I mean, it's just foam, but that long electric carving knife, you could just follow the line, and it was very easy to cut. But I just searched Amazon for high density foam, and you can order this stuff, and I think I had to order this 30 inches wide by 85 inches long, I think, so I obviously had to cut it length and width to fit my bed platform exactly, but it was very, very easy. And if I had to do it again, I would probably get a 3-inch or a 4-inch. 5 inches is a bit overkill in my opinion. Not my next truck, I will not go as thick as this. It's comfortable, but I don't need it this thick, and it kind of, does impede on some of the headroom. So I would go a thinner mattress next time. The reason that I don't have a pull-out drawer system like a lot of the guys do on YouTube, mainly is because of the weight and the fact that I use this truck a lot as a truck, and so I had to build this bed as light as I could so I could take it out very easily. And when you start adding 3-foot drawer slides on both sides, you have to build a box for the drawer itself, hardware. It adds a lot of weight to this bed, and right now this bed only weighs about 28 pounds. So I can easily remove it. It's not connected to anything. I can easily remove it, pretty much have an empty bed, and this cabinet is just a one-piece cabinet with 3 connections for the lights. So I just unplug 3 things and I pull this cabinet out, and I've got my entire bed back, which is why I built this camper the way that I did. I didn't want a lot of cabinet space. I wanted a minimalistic type design because I want to be able to take this stuff out and use my truck as a truck when I have to. So long story short, that's why I didn't add a pull-out drawer to this. But overall, that's pretty much the updates. So again, I've been in this camper for 6 months now. I've done quite a few trips in this thing, so I think I have a pretty good handle on what worked and what didn't work. And I think what's in here now is gonna work out very, very well. I think I have it kind of buttoned down. So this is pretty much gonna be my setup from here on out. Now, I did keep the curtains and the curtain rod on this back glass. So if I do have to, you know, go stealth mode for whatever reason, I can put the Reflectix up and I can lower these curtains down. My back glass will be completely covered by curtains, but I don't ever see the need to do that. I don't plan on sleeping in a Walmart parking lot anytime soon or wherever. So I just kept them there because they're there and they're out of the way, and I actually forgot they were even up there. So I do have curtains on the back. But overall, guys, again, I think I kind of have it nailed down to where I'm finally happy with it now. And I almost forgot about this. So if you guys have stuck around this long, and I don't know if you've seen any of my other videos or if you're new to the channel, but recently I've been able to be doing a lot of giveaways. So I've got this OLIGHT lantern, Classic Pro 2 lantern, that I'm going to be giving away for free. Let me get up closer so you guys can actually take a look at how cool this thing is. So it's 2 lights. So you turn this little knob here very slowly, and it's got an orange light, and it ramps up, and once it gets to a certain point, it switches over to white LEDs and goes all the way up to 300 lumens. It's kind of hard to tell in here, but this orange light inside this camper is an awesome light. It just provides the perfect ambient little light, and it's just a sweet little light. It's got a power bank on it, so you can open that up and you can charge your device from it. You can charge either USB-A or power delivery. So you can have this light on and charge your phone at the same time. It's just a sweet light. I mean, all metal. This thing's glass. So I'll leave a link to the actual review I did of this OLIGHT lantern down in the description below. But this thing is going to be with me for a long time, and I'm going to be giving away a brand new one absolutely free on this video. Check below to see what's got to happen. But yeah, this could be yours, guys. This is a sweet, sweet lantern. I know I've got a lot of camping lanterns that are kind of just lanterns. They're kind of boring and whatever. But this thing is nice. Rubber feet pad, so it's not going to slide around. And I just keep it right here, turn it on to that little orange light, and it's the perfect light. So I'm giving that away on this video. So guys, that's kind of the update, the 6-month update on this little truck camper. So if you have any questions, comment, let me, I typically respond to every comment that I get, or every one that I see at least. So I like the interaction. I think it's fun. That's why I do this, because I have a good time doing it. So again, if you guys have any questions, tips, tricks, hints, whatever it is, comment, and I'll get back to you. With that, folks, I'm gonna head out, go back into the air conditioning in the cool house, and I will see you on Friday. Take care. See ya.